Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. Today I wanted to sit down and talk about a video I said I wanted to do a few weeks ago now in my hospital vlog number 2. I got to see my current gastrologist and learned a lot of things about some of the past gastrologists I had, and I was just very frustrated. I did my best to explain it in that video, but I don't think I did a very good job. So I thought it would be great to just kind of do a sit down video to explain that a little bit more. So the current gastrologist I'm seeing is now my 4th gastrologist. The first one I saw was back in 2019 when I was still 17. And she is the gastrologist who first started testing me for celiac disease, and she's the doctor who performed my first colonoscopy, and she was absolutely wonderful. The only reason I stopped seeing her was she only takes pediatric patients, and once I turned 18 I wasn't pediatrics anymore. I needed to see an adult gastrologist. My battery's already dead. Okay. Back in a minute. Okay, new camera battery. I know the framing changed, so apologies for that, but I also realized while I was changing my camera battery, it's 5 gastrologists, not 4. Because after the pediatric gastrologist, which I just talked about, I changed to a adult primary care doctor that I still am seeing, and she sent me to the gastrologist within the same hospital. So my first gastrologist was all the way in Bangor, which is about an hour and a half from me, but this gastrologist is in the same hospital as my primary care. And again, he was very helpful as much as he could be. The second gastrologist is in the hospital closest to my house, which is a fairly decent sized hospital, but they don't have as many resources as the hospitals in like the major cities in Maine. So he sent me for some CAT scans, some blood work, but he had a feeling that what I was going through was something he just didn't have the resources to help me with. And so he recommended I go to one of those bigger hospitals. And because I had had such a positive experience with my pediatric gastrologist in the Bangor hospital, I asked to go back there, thinking I would have a similar experience. I didn't. I'm sorry to spoil it, but I didn't. Also, I'm not going to be saying the doctors' names because they didn't do anything like harmful like some other doctors, but they just did some frustrating things, so I don't want anybody to like go send them hate or anything. So now we're on to gastrologist number 3, and this is where things kind of started going downhill. And I would say it's more of the office in general than just the doctor themselves, because I would have to call multiple times to just get results from lab tests that I had. Anytime I did call, half the time I would just be hung up on. And it was just very hard to get information from my doctor. And yeah. Also, one thing that I think just because it's a different... So there's 2 major hospital brands, I guess is the best way to describe it, here in Maine. And the hospital closest to my house is in the other one than the one that's in Bangor. So usually doctors will let you go to a closer hospital for things like a blood test or like scans and stuff, because my hospital can do all of that. So I ended up having to go all the way back to Bangor to get some of the simpler tests done. And when I did get them done, instead of getting a phone call or a much faster form of communication to get my results, I had to wait for a physical letter in the mail saying what my results ended up being. I even tried to call them to ask, and they're like, oh, just wait for the letter. Which most hospitals don't work like that, so why they did, I don't know. All of those tests did come back normal, so we decided that I should have a test called the gastro-emptying study. Now this test I would have had to go no matter what, because my hospital doesn't do that test. So basically what you do is you come down having not eaten anything. This usually is a test done in the morning. So you have not eaten anything at all, and they give you some food to eat. So I got a thing of egg salad, and he had like a fruit cup and some milk, I think. And in the egg salad was some sort of radioactive material, and you basically had to go in once an hour until you fully digested the food, or got to a certain part in your digestive system. I think that they usually wait about 4 or 5 hours. So yeah, it was like 4 or 5 hours, and you're not allowed to leave, you're not allowed to go anywhere. You have to sit in their waiting room, so it was very boring. But I got the test done, and I eventually got the letter in the mail saying that it was normal and nothing was wrong. And so they then scheduled me to have my second colonoscopy and endoscopy. What they neglected to tell me was that the doctor I had been seeing left or moved on, like retired. I don't know, because they didn't tell me, but he wasn't there anymore, and so I was assigned a new doctor without my knowledge. And I only learned of this on the day of the colonoscopy, because that's when I met him. Don't do that. Please don't. I was very confused. I figured, oh, I'm an adult. Maybe my doctor that I had been seeing doesn't do these things like the pediatric doctor did. He didn't even tell me he was my new doctor. I had to wait until it was done, and I was waiting for the letter that I actually found out, which I'll get to in a second. But meeting this now 4th gastrologist, I immediately knew I did not like him. He was very dismissive of my symptoms. He clearly did not care about me. Like, very much had the attitude of, you are 19, why are you here? Like, what 19-year-old has gastro problems this severe? So to him, he was very clearly trying to get me to tell him like something that like was a lot easier and I didn't have to get this done. Because he also kept saying to me like, this is a big procedure, you sure you want to do this? And I was like, it's my second one, like I want to make sure like there's nothing wrong, like nothing was missed the first time. Like, yes, I want you to do this. Like, I wouldn't have agreed to it if I didn't think it was necessary. And he ended up doing it, and I went home. And about a month went by and I hadn't heard anything, so I called, and that's when I found out that doctor I met was my new doctor, and I had to approve of him reviewing my colonoscopy and endoscopy to get the results. It's like, how would I have known that? You didn't tell me anything. And they're like, well, you should have received a letter. It's like, I didn't. It's been a month. You think you would have called me, been like, hey, what's up? But no, I have to call you. And so I went through with it, but knowing that he was my doctor and how awful he treated me, I wanted a new one. After discussing it with my GP, we decided to see if there was another doctor I could see in the same place. And there were, and they had openings, but they refused to let me. Again, dodging my phone calls, hanging up on me, just the same spiel over and over again. So after a year of this, trying to get a new doctor, it not working, again back to the GP, me and her both decided I just needed a new one. I needed somewhere else, and that has now led me to my now 5th gastrologist, where I learned that they lied to me about my gastro-emptying study, and my stomach does empty slowly, which is why I have such bad acid reflux and stomach pain. And I also most definitely have celiac disease, which is why eating the gluten hurts me so much, on top of the allergy. Yeah. If you are exhausted listening to this story, imagine how I feel as the person who has gone through all of this. But unfortunately, this isn't a news story. This isn't groundbreaking. This is a very common thing. So I hope if you've been through this video helped you feel a little bit saner, because I know I didn't feel sane when this was going on. And I hope it brought you some clarity on just everything you've been through. And if you haven't been through this, I hope this gave you an idea of what having a chronic illness can look like. But yeah, that is my story. I hope you enjoyed it, or didn't. This wasn't a very enjoyable story. It's okay if you didn't. But I wanted to say very quickly before the outro here, I have a very special announcement happening next week, which does mean you will not be getting a video next Thursday, but that Saturday is when I am uploading the big surprise. So stay tuned, make sure you are subscribed so you can see it when it comes out. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like if you enjoyed, because it really helps me out, and I will see you next week for a new video. Bye.